Hello, everybody. Welcome back on my channel, and thank you so much for support and love. So today, I actually will be talking about a very intense yet disguised, almost disguised topic that we don't even realize nowadays, and we don't even bring up because everybody is so busy in their lives. So I thought I should just be touching this topic somewhere because it's a very important concern that we should actually be talking about more often. So today I actually want to talk about something that affects all of us, regardless of the age, background, or situations, and that is loneliness. So in the world, this is where we are more connected nowadays, and even through technology, it may actually surprise you that loneliness is still one of the most common and most profound feelings that people may experience. So loneliness doesn't just mean by physically being alone. It can actually mean physically disconnected or unseen or unheard or even when surrounded by people around you. So it can actually take the root cause in the heart of the elderly people, especially who may no longer have the energy or social circles they actually once had, and in teenagers struggling to find their identity, or in adults who are consumed by their work or responsibilities, leaving the little space that meaningful human interaction should actually be taking in their lives. So acknowledging this issue actually is very important, and I feel we should have more talks, more discussions, and more interaction on this. So at least we can share our common thoughts and see how we can actually help play our contribution towards these kind of issues. So acknowledging the major issue, first and foremost, we must acknowledge the loneliness, that the factor is real. And it's not something that can actually be easily fixed or a quick solution or a vague advice. But it is actually a very complex and deeply personal experience that somebody would feel, especially people whose kids are studying abroad or they're staying abroad, the elderly ones, and the parents are staying in some other country and they're not able to have whenever it's required because you can't be traveling that often from foreign countries. So that's one of the major issues people are facing nowadays. And that was one of the crises because of which people never wanted to send their kids abroad for studying or just to have their own lifestyles. And this doesn't even have to be a grand momental gesture. So it can actually start with small, simple conversations, a friendly smile, a text to check on somebody, and we can actually actively reach out to people. So at least check on somebody who's really isolated or struggling. So whether they're actually family members, friends, or even strangers. But today I thought I should be reflecting on how we can actually play our part. We can contribute and we can play our role in minimizing loneliness. Like I won't say we will actually try to cut it off entirely, but try to minimize it somehow. So, building meaningful connections around us. So, one of the best ways to combat the loneliness is to foster the real, genuine connections with others. And this doesn't always have to be grand, as I told you right now. So, it can start with basic gestures that the moment you have a chance to interact with somebody around your neighbors, you move out, and then you come across somebody, you cross your path, and then you realize, okay, let me just greet the person. So we often understand, or and actually we don't. We actually estimate the power of the small gestures of kindness, but we actually should understand how important they are. So a simple invitation for coffee, or a call to say hello, or even offering a helping hand can actually have a profound impact on somebody's life who's going through that phase, and the sense of connection can actually be felt. So it may not only actually have few minutes of your time, but it actually could mean something really important. Maybe they could share what they're going through, and can also save somebody's life. Sometimes you don't know, the moment we realize about something unfortunate happened around us, we realize, okay, oh, I saw that, but because I was not aware of it, so I did not participate, or I did not take any initiative to reach out to the person. So if you reach out to the person, reach out to them, talk to them, your part. I'm not in the right position right now to even tell you how you can soothe the person, but it depends upon the situations and the circumstance you come across. But again, you should at least initiate what I'm talking about, what you're concerned about, just to initiate at least something. So, creating your safe space for an open conversation. So, the next step that we can take in removing loneliness from somebody's life is creating safe spaces for people to speak about their feelings, right? And not judging people around, because generally people don't want to get judged, and that is one of the reasons because of which people don't speak up of what they're feeling. So sometimes all that somebody needs is a listener, right? And somebody who will actually hear to their conversations, like listen to the conversation without judgment. So our effort basically is in terms of breaking the stigma around loneliness and mental health. So by encouraging conversation about feelings, we remove the silence that often isolates those who are suffering from loneliness, and we can possibly also promote this by making ourselves available and to be able to talk to them openly and without judging them. So sometimes just by asking somebody, how are you feeling? What is your emotion so far? What is going around you? What about your family members? How often do you talk to them? Is there anything that I can help you with? Or what is there on your mind? So all these kind of questions can actually, open doors to deep healing conversations. Maybe if not at the first shot, but maybe later on the person would feel comfortable with you, and then they can share their emotions and thoughts and thinking process with you. Also, if possibly you're not able to go because we saw this in the pandemic, people were not able to visit each other. So at that point in time, I guess I saw some campaign going on that we can just call somebody, or maybe we can go for a video call and still talk to somebody, just to remove this loneliness as a factor from somebody's life, because mostly people were going through this loneliness in that period. I believe because everybody is so busy in their own life. So I feel as much as technology has contributed to our connectedness, it has also created a form of isolation. So social media often portrays an idealized version of life, making people feel more like they don't, because everybody is so engraved in their phones and their own mobile devices in their own life. So even the social media sometimes portrays an idealist perspective and version of life. So making many feel like they're judged or they have to be measured up. So however, the technology basically can actually be a powerful tool to use it more consciously. And social media often portrays an idealized version of life, which is not true always. So there's a difference between a real life and a real life. So making more uh, people feel like they don't quite measure up, right? So however, the technology actually can also play a very important powerful tool if you take it positively and in the most optimistic way. So it can actually be used more consciously, right? So we can utilize technology to create the virtual spaces where people can meet together. The way I'm trying to have this podcast channel, we can come together and discuss. Anybody can actually appear with their whatever they've done so far in life. I'm sure that they have made a lot of contributions so far in their lifespan, which is worth discussing and bringing it to everybody's knowledge and information. So they can share their experiences and they can support one another. The video calls that we have, the online calls, group chats, different forums that we have, we can connect. We can still open new forums, which can talk about more interactions and face-to-face interactions, especially for the elderly class. So that's the most important thing that I feel that technology can actually be used in this direction. And then maybe we can also talk about voluntarily turning up for somebody, standing for somebody, and then offering your support and your connection, your time. So devotion of your time is important. So volunteering and giving back. So one of the most popular ways to combat loneliness, basically, especially for those who may feel disconnected from the world, is through the voluntary work, which is happening nowadays in different foreign countries also. So it can actually simply help a neighbor or participate in community events by joining the organization somewhere where elderly people are working, and you can still spend some moments and time with them. So at least they don't have the mental challenge they're facing, so they can at least be discussing with you, and there'll be low chances. See, we can only play our part, we can only play our role. So the idea is to have less people facing mental health issues. So encouraging self-compassion and talking about your mental health, talking about your mental well-being, discussing about these topics, I feel can be our small contribution towards to try to not let the world face this loneliness alone, and you can make an effort to share the space. So what is our role in this? So we can actually make a tangible impact. It starts with you. It starts with us. Every one of us can actually take small steps every now and then to reach out to people, offer kindness, offer the gesture, small gestures of support. The way I'll be discussing in the upcoming podcast with you, a small story, and then to be present whenever they need. So we don't need to wait for others to come up for the first step. By becoming more aware of the people around us, we can actually recognize when somebody might need a help. It can be your friend, it can be your ex friend, somebody you were talking to initially, but somehow you could not be in touch. or now because you had some confusions or lack of clarity, so you had some misunderstandings and then you just broke off. So we can still recognize somebody, those who might need help or conversation or just a moment of attention. So maybe this actually help in removing the loneliness from somebody's life. Though of course it's not an overnight task, so but it's something that we can actually achieve one by one, one step at a time. So together we can build a world where nobody has to face the loneliness all alone. Be with them, be as a supporting structure, and where connections can be strong, and then we can even feel more seen. I'm generally focusing on always the unseen heroes. That means somebody who has not been heard of and valued. That's what the intention behind the theme behind my channel also is. So I would like to say that दूसरों के दिल में हल्की सी जगह बनाने से उनका अकेलापन आप दूर कर सकते हैं। सो जब आप उस दूसरे को टाइम दोगे, उससे बात करोगे, सो दैट वुड आल्सो इट विल बी अ स्टेपिंग स्टोन इन देयर लाइफ where they could still try to gel up with you, not in the first instance. Maybe they'll try and take some time to free up, but then maybe gradually. So make a space in others' life and in others' heart. The loneliness actually can be removed when you support each other in the most positive way. So that's my thought about it. Let me know in the comments below and in the sessions what all topics do you want me to cover. So we can still discuss. I'm also learning. You can also we can also have a talk together. And of course, I'm very excited for the next podcast this Sunday. She's one of the okay. I'll not discuss much about it. Let me just keep it a little secret till the time I come up with another video or introduction about her. So on the channel on Sunday, I'll see you by 1:30 p.m. And thank you so much. Keep supporting. I hope you like the story and the thought process. Let me know what else do you want to listen or do you want me to make a video on, and I'll be right back with another story on my channel. Thank you.